Hi everyone, this is Dr. Leah, and today we're going to talk about sunscreen. So in the recent, I would say, months since BioShare did their analysis and 78 sunscreen brands were recalled, I've gotten a lot of questions from many of you, from most of my customers, and also from press. And I've been on many different shows and press releases just to comment on what to do now. What is the safe sunscreen, right? So, well, number one, I would say there's no safe sunscreen. There's no safe sunscreen really out there because every sunscreen with its active ingredients can cause one or another possibly severe side effect. But I would also say that it is better to use a sunscreen than not, because when you go in the sun and you sit there in the sun and you tan yourself in the summer, or even when you go for 1 hour walk in the summer and also in the winter, but we'll come to that. That's a different topic. You will always get tans. UV light will be absorbed into your skin, whether you feel it or not, whether the sun is on top of you or it is in the clouds. It will always be absorbed into your skin. So one thing you can do, stay out of the sun, but we know that's also not healthy for your mental health, not healthy for your skin. You need some vitamin D. Second thing you can do, if you do not want to use sunscreen or anything with SPF, or if you're allergic to it, you can use, of course, protection. You can wear long sleeves, you can wear hats, sunglasses, you can protect yourself, but that only goes so far. So I also always say, please do use, especially in the summer, a moisturizer with some kind of SPF. Even SPF 15 is better than nothing. SPF 30 will be preferred because then you can go for possibly 1 hour walk without reapplying, but 15, that's okay, do that. So it's really unfortunate, of course, that since the 78 great brands were recalled, suddenly a lot of people are scared to use sunscreen and do not use it at all, because they're afraid that benzene that was found in the sunscreens is a carcinogen and may cause cancer. Well, I have news for you. Being in the sun without sunscreen or any kind of SPF can also cause cancer. So I would say definitely use sunscreen all the time, anytime. That's another thing. If you go in the morning for a walk, if you go in the afternoon for a walk, if you go in the evening, before, of course, it's dark, do use sunscreen. Even in the winter, where, yes, the sun is a bit further away from us, UV light and UV rays are still being absorbed into your skin, even if you don't see them and even if it's in the clouds. So basically, use protection, use SPF, any kind of SPF. SPF 15 is great before you go out. And then if you go swimming, or if you decide to go tanning, or you decide to sit outside, just reapply every hour or so. Just reapply on the spots and parts of your body that are exposed to the sun. So yes, the conclusion is using sunscreen is better than not using sunscreen. So now we can go and talk about what sunscreen to use, right? Because as we know, a lot of sunscreens were recalled. So they are recalled. You don't have to worry about them. You can look them up at BioShare's website. But many people do ask me two things. So number one, what is the safe sunscreen to use? That's number one. And number two, is anything with benzone, which is present, the end of the word in many chemical sunscreens. Is it the same as benzene that was found in all the sunscreens and is a known carcinogen? So the answer to this is no. Benzone is not the same as benzene. So I'm actually printed out, and you can look up, and I'll put these links in the below. But there are many different names, right, of chemical sunscreens, and like octibenzone and oxybenzone and sulisobenzone, and there is deoxybenzone and all kinds of benzones. And no, that's not the same as benzene. That's number one. Number two, there are two types of sunscreens. And by the way, sunscreens are regulated by FDA. And why? So you can't just make something with SPF by putting one of these products in there, because there are so many claims that companies make with sunscreen, such as will prevent skin cancer, or will make your skin not burn, etc. And these are health claims. And when you make those health claims, you have to submit your product to FDA and all the materials and all the testing you've done. And then FDA will give you an approval for your sunscreen. So don't just, if you are ready to make your own, don't call it just sunscreen, because there are some precautions that FDA will do if they will find out. So that's one thing. So talking about mineral versus chemical sunscreens. So mineral sunscreens and mineral, like remember that word mineral, right? It sounds like minerals. So mineral sunscreens only have two different ingredients in there. And they don't need to be two of them in there. It can be one or another, but they have zinc oxide and or titanium dioxide. So these are particles or nanoparticles. And what they do when you put them in a cream, they basically sitting on top of your skin. They are not getting absorbed into your skin. Of course, if you are allergic to zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, which is highly unlikely, you will have allergic reaction because it sits on top of your skin. But what it does, because it sits on top of your skin and does not get absorbed into your skin, it basically reflects the UV light. So it doesn't get absorbed into your skin. So that's really the safest sunscreens to use. Now, if you put zinc oxide and titanium dioxide in a spray formulation with nanoparticles, then it's not that safe. Because when you spray it all over your face or your body, and because it's nanoparticles, it may get absorbed, that's number one. It may come through your mucosal membranes in your nose or in your eyes. And if you inhale it, it's extremely bad for your lungs. So mineral sunscreens are the good of two evils, I would say. Look for titanium dioxide and zinc oxide on the label. Chemical sunscreens. Wow, that's the whole other beast, I would say. So there are many chemical sunscreen ingredients. Some of them are not allowed to use in Europe. Some of them are not allowed to use in the US. And so the regulations, because it is FDA regulated product or a health authority such as EMA, or like in Saudi Arabia, you have Saudian FDA, you have different health authorities throughout the world, and they regulate sunscreen. So there are a lot of ingredients that are chemical, and I will list them underneath, but I also have, I'll just quickly, I have a table that I downloaded from the EWG website, which is great to check for safer products. And we can talk about oxybenzone, not the same as benzene, homosalate, octisalate, octocrylane, avobenzone, and these are ingredients that are most commonly present in chemical sunscreens. So when you look and Google them up, you will see all kinds of side effects, and each one of them has some side effect. I will list the best to use all the way down to worst to use, but they are not forbidden to use. They're still being used in the sunscreen, and that's the only way really where you can get up to SPF 60, 70, 80. Most of these ingredients, unfortunately, and you can hear in the word, it's chemical sunscreen ingredient, they don't sit on top of your skin. They get absorbed into your cells in the skin, meaning all kinds of crazy things can happen. So they get absorbed into your skin, and when UV light comes in, they react with the UV. They change it into the heat that will get evaporated from your skin. So there's a chemical reaction that happens with the UV light with this chemical ingredient that is in your skin. So you can imagine if you have any kinds of allergies, skin condition, eczema, psoriasis, rash, burn, you will not feel well with this chemical sunscreen, right? Moreover, it may most likely be absorbed into your bloodstream, into your guts, into all your organs. And then, of course, all the side effects that you read, and the side effects are quite scary, such as oxybenzone. They basically say that they found that adolescent boys with higher oxybenzone measurements had significantly lower total testosterone levels. They found that association between oxybenzone and pregnancy and birth outcomes. They reported shorter pregnancies. They also found that it increases the risk of endometriosis, cancer, so on and on and on. So when you read this, naturally people get scared and say, I'm not going to use any sunscreen. I understand. That's also not the way to go, as I explained in the beginning of the video. However, I am very conservative. I'm very cautious on what I put on my skin. So I would say, look for ingredients, preferably look for something with titanium dioxide and zinc oxide in a cream form, and apply it definitely on your face, maybe cover your body when you go outside, or put it on your body when you go into the water, but you'll have to reapply a lot because it doesn't go into your skin, it sits on your skin. So once you go into the water, it will wash off, right? So there's no good or bad sunscreen to use. Out of all evils, I would just say use a mineral sunscreen. And I will list different ingredients and some of my favorite sunscreens to use. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked our content, please subscribe for more fun facts and science. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Leah from EpiLinks.